So what's the deal with the name SagBag? Is it a juvenile reference to male reproductive organs? A literal interpretation of a brand of luggage? Something that brings up disturbing thoughts of one's grandma? How about this Frodo SagBag guy? It must have something to do with him, right? Not only are none of these the true origin, but would you believe where the name came from is actually a very close personal story? Bear with me for a few moments and I'll tell you all about it. First, I need to tell you about my father, Wayne. My father passed away several years ago when I was quite young. While I'm not glad he's gone, he was suffering a lot before he died. He was diagnosed with diabetes at a fairly young age and kidney failure not long after that. From what I remember, I was around 7 when he began losing feeling in his legs, eventually forcing him to be confined to a wheelchair after he broke his hip. As the years went on, he became more and more sick. He wasn't able to sit through an entire meal without throwing up. He had his own hospital bed in his room, and going to a real hospital was no longer an option. He was unable to take care of himself, meaning my mom had to take care of him every day, with only the occasional nurse to help with his dialysis. His body was slowly shutting down for years, until eventually he was gone. On September 27th, 1998, my father died. He was 35. I was 9. Before and after my father died, I was picked on at school for being overweight. I was always the biggest kid in the class, which made me an easy target. It upset me a lot. I would often come home from school with tears in my eyes because of what the kids at school said. I remember one day when I was 7 or 8, I was telling my grandma about my troubles in school. She told me that when my dad was in school, he was bullied a lot too. The kids in his school would call him names, and one of the names they called him was Sagbag. It's likely the reason for the name was kids making fun of his last name, Sagriff. Sagriff. Sagbag. When I heard this, I felt the need to protect my dad from his bullies, even though it was at least 25 years before then. I felt that if I can't stand up to my own bullies, I can at least stand up to his. I thought, if they called my dad Sagbag, then they can call me that too. In my head, it was a way to lessen the impact the name had. Instead of it being used as an insult to attack someone I love, I'll use it for myself with pride. No one was going to bully my dad while I was around. After my dad died, I kept the name in mind. I never used it in any real way, just as names of characters in video games and playing around. It was like a keepsake for my father, something to always remind me of him, and a way for him to continue being a part of me even after he passed away. But it wasn't just that. It was also a reminder for me to stand up for myself, to stand up to the people who want to hurt me and see me cry. Just as I used the name Sagbag to protect my dad, the same power the name had could protect me as well, and not just myself. As I grew older, I realized I should try to protect others from bullies whenever I can. I never asked anyone to call me Sagbag. Most people didn't even know it was a thing, but it was always a part of me, a part that gave me strength whenever I was put down. When the internet started being a thing and I needed to come up with a username, there was really only one name I could think of. I used it pretty much everywhere. When I decided to start making Let's Plays, I did consider changing my name. Maybe people won't want to watch my videos because I have a silly name. Maybe if I get popular enough, game companies won't want me making videos of their games because they don't want to be associated with someone whose name could be interpreted as something inappropriate. And it's a really easy name to make fun of. Maybe. But that kind of goes against the point of the name in the first place, doesn't it? Judging a book by its cover, not giving me a chance, writing me off just because you don't like one little thing about me. I kept the name because of what it stands for to me. I'm not going to change myself so I can fit someone else's standard of what or who I should be. Plus, I really have no idea what other name to pick. I'm 26 now. My father's been gone for 17 years. I only knew my father for a few years. My memories of him are fading. Only some pictures and a handful of notable events are left, and most of those are not good memories. Him being sick, him in and out of hospitals, the day he died. There are, however, some good memories. including one I will hold on to until I can no longer remember anything. It was about a year or so before he died. I was in my room playing a video game. It was a game I loved and one he loved as well. My father was a gamer. I loved watching him play video games. Maybe that's why I love Let's Plays so much. Or maybe I'm reading too much into it. Anyway, I was on the final boss of the game and I got scared. I'd never been to the final boss before. Hell, I'd never been to the final boss of any game. I ran out of my room to ask my father how to defeat it. Instead of just telling me what to do, he asked my mom to bring him into my room. He'd never been in my room before. But with him guiding me, together we won and beat the final boss of the game. I jumped up, gave him a big hug, and thanked him. He said, "You're welcome, bud." And my mom came and got him. I love that game. For a lot of reasons, but in my father's short time with me, it was one of the very few things we connected on. And so, to honor that connection, that memory, on the 17th anniversary of his passing, I will do a playthrough of that game. And that game is... I inherited 3 important things from my father before he died. His DNA, a genetic predisposition for diabetes, and the name SagBag. A name to me means, I will not let you bully me, and I will not let you bully others. I will stand up to you and anyone who hurts others to make themselves feel good and big and powerful. You got something to say about that? You want to hurt me? Give me your best shot.